What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Nick, and I'm back with another video, and I'm back like I never left. And this is your first time on my channel. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to click that bell so you can be notified whenever I do make a new video. And leave a like. You know what I'm saying? Leave a like if you like anything Michael Jackson related. You know what I'm saying? And today we are reacting to Revealed, Michael Jackson's twisted trauma that inspired Billie Jean. Oh snap! I already know the concept of Billie Jean, you know. But anyway, bro, without further ado, let's get straight into the video.
This is Thriller Forever, a video series chronicling every detail in the construction, release, and lasting impact of Michael Jackson's musical juggernaut. After, Michael Jackson was positive they'd recorded a surefire hit. McCartney, however, expressed some trepidation about the song's bubblegum feel. One thing was certain. This wasn't the Don't Stop Till You Get Enough Part 2 many were expecting. Radio listeners felt that Jackson and Jones had diluted their talents to accommodate to a white pop audience. Without anything else to go by, many feared Jackson's upcoming LP would also be a disappointment if the singer's overarching ambition was to achieve widespread commerciality. Surprisingly, with the lyrics of Wanna Be Startin' Something, Jackson makes a fleeting reference to his upcoming second single. Quote, Billie Jean is always talking when nobody else is talking, telling lies and rubbing shoulders, so they called her mouth a motor. His next release would redefine Michael Jackson, the artist, and ignite Thriller's seemingly unstoppable ascent into the history books. As soon as listeners heard the crispness of its opening beat and its straight-to-the-point proof, knew they were so not quite like anything else. If ever was a quintessential Michael Jackson, it'd have to be the sonic masterpiece that is Billie Jean. Michael Jackson wrote and recorded the demo in his home studio in Encino, Los Angeles. The premise of the track was his desire to compose something that had a lot of bass. Jackson said of the song, quote, a musician knows hit material. It has to feel right. Everything has to feel in place. It fulfills you and it makes you feel good. That's how I felt about Billie Jean. I knew it was going to be big while I was writing it. Michael Jackson would want to recall that he was so absorbed in the writing the song, he was riding down the Ventura Freeway and didn't realize his car had set ablaze. Quote, we were getting off the freeway and a kid on a motorcycle pulls up to us and says, his car's on fire. We pulled over and the whole bottom of the Rolls Royce was on fire. I was so absorbed by this tune floating in my head that I didn't even focus on the awful possibilities until later. Once at Studios, Jones had Jackson sing over dubs through a 6-foot board tube and brought in jazz saxophonist Tom Scott to play the lyric on. When engineer Bruce Wadeen was putting together the string section, he was aiming for a classical feel instead of a pop sound. He said, quote, I don't think there are basses on the string, but it was violin, viola, and cellos, and it was absolutely classical in the approach. Wadeen ended up mixing the song 91 times, which was unusual for him. The mixes grew progressively worse, and Jones asks Wadeen to listen again to the second mix, which was much better. Therefore, second became the final version. There aren't many pieces of music where you can hear the first 3 or 4 notes of drums and immediately tell what piece of music is. But I think that's the Billie Jean, Wadeen reflected. Billie Jean, Michael Jackson and his producer Quincy Jones constantly fought over the track. Some reports stating that Jones felt it was too weak to be included on the album, a claim the music producer has since denied.
What songs he was going to sing, that producer has to do that, you know. You don't ask him what songs we're going to sing. And after that, this whole fallacy about you not liking Billie Jean is a lie. Okay. It is. I started song because anybody could hear that. It's nice. And also, I know where it came from.
However, Jones did dislike the demo, nor did he care for the bass line, wanting to cut its 29-second introduction. But Jackson insisted that it be kept. According to Jones, quote, the intro to Billie Jean was so long you could shave during it. I said we had to get to melody soon, but Michael said that was what made him want to dance. And when Michael Jackson says something makes him want to dance, you don't argue. So he won. Quincy
Well,
Jones
Michael
also wasn't
says
keen on
it
the track's
goes.
title, wanting to change it to Not My Lover, as he believed that audiences might mistakenly think the song was featuring tennis star Billie Jean King. However, Jackson refused to change the title and asked Jones to give him credit for the track, as he felt the finished product sounded very close to his demo. In addition, the singer requested extra royalties, but Jones granted him neither, and the two fell out over it for several days. According to Jones, Jackson stole Billie Jean's instantly recognizable beat from State of Independence, a track Jones produced for Donna Summer, and that Jackson sung backing vocals on. The songwriter John Anderson, quote, "They took the riff and made it funky for Billie Jean, so that's kind of cool. That cross-pollination in music." However, according to Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates, Jackson told him that the Billie Jean groove was in fact lifted from their 1981 track, "I Can't Go For That. No Can Do."
Never pay for Wi-Fi again. InstaBridge is a free app.
Hall telling the former child star, quote, "Oh, Michael, what do I care? You did it very differently." That being said, both accounts remain unconfirmed. Upon the official release of Billie Jean on January 3rd, 1983, listeners were surprised by its lyrical content. These were emotions no one had ever heard from the former boy wonder. Quote, "I figured that he was making a conscious effort to change his image," Michael's mother, Catherine, revealing. "I think he felt that his image had become too safe." For the first time, Jackson lifts the lid on the realities of fame, and that despite the public's preconceptions, it has its darker side. A cautionary tale to, quote, "Be careful of what you do, because the lie becomes the truth." Billie Jean delves into themes of suspicion, rumor, and the perils of stardom. Recounting the story of a woman named Billie Jean who seduces an narrator and claims that they have fathered her child, and despite his emphatic denials, continues to insist on his responsibility, causing immeasurable turmoil in his life. Michael Jackson stating, quote,
Yes, and if you guys want to see that video, I did a whole video about the woman that claimed to have Michael Jackson's child. You know what I'm saying? I have a whole video about that. You know what I'm saying? The Notorious Groupie, Billie Jean. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna leave that video in the description box down below if y'all want to check that video out, man. Because like she was insane, bro. Like something was mentally wrong with her. For real, for real.
"This track was really personal. The singer's inspiration coming from the groupies he and his brothers encountered during their time performing as the Jackson 5. These groupies would linger around backstage doors, forming relationships with any band member that came to town. Encounters that continued, as demonstrated when Michael was at his home in Havenhurst, and some girl had snuck all. His producer Quincy Jones said that Jackson found the woman one day lounging by his pool with a bathing suit and sunglasses on. According to Jones, she accused Jackson of being the father of her child, which Jones thought was hilarious. However, the track's true inspiration was really rooted in a far more sinister experience that he didn't feel comfortable revealing to his closest collaborators, not even Quincy Jones. When Jerry Hershey of Rolling Stone noticed a snapshot tucked into a picture frame in Jackson's dining room, he acknowledged the image was of the real Billie Jean. Hershey described her as a, quote, "black teenager of average countenance, posing, most likely, for a high school yearbook." The genesis of Billie Jean had in fact stemmed from letters Jackson received in 1981 from a woman asserting that he was the father of one of her twins. Jackson regularly received such claims, despite never meeting these women, and therefore would usually just ignore them. However, she persisted, professing her love and desire to be with him, and questioning how he could ignore his own flesh and blood. These letters troubled Jackson to the point of causing him continuous nightmares. The situation escalated when Jackson received a parcel containing a photo of the fan, a gun, and a letter instructing him to kill himself at a specific time.
Whoa!
With the fan planning to do the same after killing
him. Dang. Wow. I did not know that. It was that bad. Oh my God. It was definitely trauma, and as you can see, we on the Michael's trauma section. As you can see, we on the Michael's trauma section. You know what I'm saying, of the video. But that's crazy. I never knew that. I never knew that, bro. I didn't know it caused him to have trauma though. Like, I understand people make like false accusing. What I'm trying to say, false allegations. You know what I'm saying? But like, I didn't know that this caused trauma in his life. That's deep. That is very deep.
Their baby, so they could reunite in the next life. Subsequently, Jackson learned that the fan had been admitted to a psychiatric hospital. Quote, "I want to memorize her face," he said, in case she ever does turn up someplace. In fear of inciting more obsessive fanatics, he never publicly revealed this origin story. Micheal later writing, quote, "There never was a real Billie Jean. The girl in the song is a composite of people my brothers have been plagued with over the years. I could never understand how these girls could say they were carrying someone's child when it wasn't true."
Attention.
However, despite Jackson's attempts, the release of Billie Jean would usher in a new wave of psychotic extremists who believed the superstar was in fact singing about them. One even changing their name to Billie Jean Jackson and actioning a $150 million paternity case against the superstar. Jackson's Thriller album had reached #1 on the R&B chart, and a month later, it topped the Billboard 200. The single also topped the music charts on March 5, 1983, before even the release of its accompanying video. Billie Jean was directed by Steve Barron, who was chosen because Jackson and Quincy Jones loved the mystery murder treatment he did for the Human League's video, "Don't You Want Me," released the previous year. Barron's original idea was more complex and involved a group of dancers. With budget a factor, they simplified the concept and went with the idea of Jackson having a Midas touch, with the squares he stepped on lighting up.
The brief was he really was looking for something magical. And I'd done an idea about a year earlier about the Midas touch and about everything lighting up in real magic. I wrote down a treatment which was about walking down the street and some sort of private detective. And what I'd planned for him in terms of walking along the street and the dances and things was that all the paving stones would be interactive. So he pressure interactive. So he'd step on one and the light would come on. Of course, you know, the budget that the art director couldn't deliver on the day. I had to take Micheal through what worked and what didn't. And I said, unfortunately, we've only got 11 of these stones that light up. And I said, this is one, those two, and then you've got to skip that one. And he said, let's just...
Steve Barron remembers being in awe of the artist. Quote, "We shot that first take, got to the end, and everyone, up in the gantries eating their sandwiches, reading the paper, painters working on another set, just burst into applause. We all just knew we'd seen another era of superstar." To save on set design, they used a technique where painted glass was placed in front of the camera to fill in the wide shots without building actual set pieces. The video also utilized innovative editing techniques, including rapid cuts and transitions, to create a dynamic and engaging visual. Barron and his team worked closely with Jackson to capture his dynamic stage presence and showcase his dance moves in a way that was both captivating and stylish. The video also debuted Michael Jackson's new look for this era. Gone was his signature afro and showbiz glitz, replaced by a slick Jerry curl and black leather suit with a playful pink shirt and a red bow tie. A photographer follows Jackson but can never capture him in celluloid, as when photographed, the superstar fails to materialize on the developed picture. Jackson dances as he walks along a sidewalk to Billie Jean's hotel room. Upon arrival at the hotel, he climbs the staircase to Billie Jean's room, lighting up each step and illuminating a burnt-out hotel sign as he passes it. The paparazzo then arrives at the scene and watches as Jackson vanishes to the cover of her bed, before police arrive and arrest him for spying on Billie Jean. As the paparazzo is led away, he drops a tiger print cloth that Jackson had left behind after polishing his shoe with it earlier in the video. On both occasions, the cloth briefly transforms into a tiger cub, referring to the cover of Michael Jackson's Thriller album. Billie Jean video is is often credited with breaking color barriers on MTV, a channel that debuted on August 1st, 1981, and up until that point exclusively pushed white artists with a more rock-oriented output. This didn't go unnoticed, as MTV was accused of racism during this era, most notably by Rick James, whose Freak video was rejected by the network.
No, this isn't a Wizard of Oz. I mean, there are black people here, and we make music, and we spend thousands, $100,000 on videos, and we're not doing this for the sake of because we enjoy doing it. We're doing it because it's part of the art.
Quote, maybe MTV gets slacked because of what is construed as its overt racism. Journalist Michael Shore wrote in the Village Voice in 1982. Quote, it goes for the biggest sellers to the biggest audience, which means white youth music as in corporate rock and heavy metal. Many behind the scenes at MTV argued that while viewers in New York or other cosmopolitan centers wouldn't be fazed by seeing black artists as part of their programming, they also needed to accommodate middle America and less open-minded territories. Even though MTV had a growing viewership, record companies wouldn't budget for videos by their black artists since they didn't think they would play them. But the network could make the argument that they simply didn't have any good videos by black artists. However, as an avid fan of filmmaking, Michael Jackson knew that argument wouldn't fly as soon as he presented them with the Billie Jean video, which was startlingly innovative and took the new art form to greater heights. Despite its production value and Jackson's star quality, MTV initially refused to air Billie Jean, promising to instead broadcast Michael's next video because it was more fitting to their rock format.
We are looking for a certain sound and a certain point of view.
Bob Pittman is the 29-year-old whiz kid who created MTV after a successful career as a radio station program director. He sees little difference between radio and cable.
We are not all things to all people. We are cable television, and what cable television does best is specialize. One thing per channel, so you know exactly what you're getting when you turn on the channel.
Enraged by their refusal, Walter Yetnikoff, the president of Jackson's record company CBS Records, threatened to expose...
Yup, because this guy right here, he said, if you don't play Michael Jackson's Billie Jean video, we're pulling all of our artists' videos off of MTV. I agree with him. You know what I'm saying? He had every right to do that because what MTV was doing at the time. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, I definitely agree with him.
MTV's stance as a racial discrimination. Quote, I said to MTV, I'm pulling everything we have off the air, all our product. I'm not going to give you any more videos. And I'm going to go public and tell them about the fact you don't want to play music by a black guy. MTV quickly relented and premiered the Billie Jean music video on March 10th, 1983.
Because that was a big risk.
The single was already topping the charts, but in part because of the video's heavy rotation on MTV, Billie Jean soon broke records by remaining #1 for a total of 7 weeks. Although MTV fed the public Michael Jackson's most captivating of visuals, the video didn't contain the superstar's most iconic elements of Billie Jean. For example, Fedora, Sequin Glove, and the Moonwalk. These visual cues would debut on May 16, 1983, when Jackson agreed to perform the track at Motown 25, Yes Today, Forever television special. Jackson had initially declined to perform, but at the time he wanted to distance himself from Motown and his brothers, focusing his attention on his solo work. But we considered it after he discussed the offer with Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown, and Michael agreed only if he could perform his new track. Following performances by Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, and Harry Wells, the Jacksons sang
and Berry Gordy was begging him to do this, man. Begging him. But then eventually Mike agreed, and it was only one thing. He'll do it, but it was only one suggestion, that he got a solo spot, a solo performance. And, hey, the rest is history.
Motown hits. After the group performed I'll Be There, his brothers left Michael alone on the stage. Jackson wore black pants, leather penny loafers, a black sequined jacket, socks, and a single white rhinestone glove. He addressed the audience, and then Billie Jean started playing to an erupting applause.
Which is trademark.
During the song's instrumental interlude, he executed a move that many believe sealed his status as a pop icon. Jackson gliding backwards, performing what instantly became his signature, the moonwalk, before spinning on his heels and landing on point. It was the first time Jackson did the move in public, after practicing it over and over again in his kitchen prior to the show. The special was watched by 50 million people, and Jackson received an Emmy nomination for his performance. Motown 25 is considered a watershed moment in popular culture, solidifying Michael Jackson as a supreme performer of a generation. The day after the show aired, Jackson was called by his childhood idol Fred Astaire, who commended him for his performance. Another childhood idol, Sammy Davis Jr., admired Jackson's black sequin jacket and later received it as a gift. Despite the show's success, Michael was surprisingly dissatisfied with his performance. After getting off stage, he cried due to being unhappy with his spin and toe stand, as he wanted it to last longer. However, the glove one was comforted by a kid that ran up to him after the show and emphatically praised his moves, taking solace in the belief that children are often your most honest critics. As a result of this performance, Jackson reached a new audience and increased sales of Thriller, soon selling as much as 1 million copies a week, becoming the first artist ever to have an album and single in top position on the Billboard at the same time. In 1984, Billie Jean would be awarded honors including 2 Grammy Awards and an American Music Award. Certified Diamond, a Billboard poll named the tune as Black Single of the Decade, with many considering Billie Jean as one of the greatest songs of all time.
Sorry about the inconvenience. You know, UPS was at the door, but this was a good video. And I didn't know Michael was going through trauma with the whole Billie Jean situation. I just did not know that. I didn't know he was dealing with trauma. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's people out here that just want attention, and I feel like that chick that claimed that she had a baby by Michael Jackson was looking for attention, and then like she was not right up her as well. And like I said, I did a video about that too, and I'm gonna leave it in the description box down below if y'all want to check it out. But overall, this was a good video. You know what I'm saying? This was a good video, man, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? And I will be back, man, with some more stuff. You know what I'm saying? I will be back, man. And before you guys leave, man, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, and don't forget to click that bell. You know what I'm saying? So you can be notified whenever I do make new videos. You know what I'm saying? If you like anything Michael Jackson related, you know what I'm saying? Just click that subscribe button, like the video. I would really appreciate it because it will help me a lot on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It will really, really help me a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I will really, really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And give you guys more content. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to end the video right here. You know, I've been your boy Nick, and I'll see y'all in the next video, bruh. Peace.